among the group that thought Caitlin Clark should have made the Olympic team, or do you think she's not quite yet one of the best 12?
I don't think she's one of the best 12 yet. I wasn't mad because I know how they work, right?
Mhm.
Like I know it's a UConn fest. We're gonna let the UConn people get in because you know what I mean? That's what the head coach does. We're just gonna have the UConn fest and all of them, and then they have their players that they bring back every year. Diana Taurasi is somebody who again is a top 10 player of all time, a GOAT. She shouldn't be on it. Like she should at some point allow someone else to have that chance. I said the same thing with her and Sue Bird, because Sue Bird was on the last team. I was like, come on, like why are y'all still on the team? But I understood how they work, so I was just I sort of expected it. And again, okay, like Caitlin's gonna be on this every year. After this, she's gonna be on every Olympics, and they sort of do this with the WNBA, where they go, yeah, oh, you got to earn it. You got to play. You got to be a vet in this league in order to be on the roster. And I sort of respect that a little bit, right? Like you got to be a vet. We're not going to allow young players on the team. Like the NBA does that with their Olympics. The WNBA doesn't do that. So I'm okay with it. I don't. Again, it's not the 12 best players, but I'm okay with it.
I agree with you. Caitlin Clark's going to have her time. She's going to have decades to play in the Olympics. She wasn't a part of the training camps because she was playing in the Final Four. So that makes sense, and the national championship game. So there's pros and cons to her being on the team, to her being off the team. Either way, I think it's fair that she didn't make the team. You're talking top 12 best players, and I don't think she's there yet. But I do think she's going to try and show out in this All-Star game. Sean, if we take a look at the WNBA slate for today, we have 3 games. Caitlin Clark is not in action today, but you do have the other rookie, Angel Reese, and the Sky going up against the Storm. Angel Reese has been just an absolute double-double machine lately. She had 19 rebounds against the Atlanta Dream the other night on Tuesday. 19 rebounds, Sean. I mean, her double doubles, she's barely getting there on points. That's the side of the double double that you kind of have to worry about with her. But the rebounding
Mm.
is just off the charts for Angel Reese right now.
Yeah, and for those who are saying, "Oh, it's all offensive rebounds," while she has a great amount of offensive rebounds, if you take away her rebounding her own shot, she still leads the league in offensive rebounds, right? And that's what you want. So it's not like she's just missing it and then getting all her own rebounds and padding her stats that way. Take away all her rebounds of her own shots, she still leads the league in offensive rebounds. So she's just a rebounding monster, right? Like Lisa Leslie has talking about how, hey, your game's going to transition right away because of your ability to rebound. She said that before Angel Reese even got into the league. So when you get a cosign like that from Lisa Leslie, one of the greats, then you know she can ball. So yeah, the slate tonight, again, I expect her to continue to do her thing. I expect her to get a double-double. Now, mind you, they're playing the Storm. They're playing Jewel Lloyd. They're playing a team that can compete, is going to compete for a championship. So the Storm are going to win this game. Now, 10.5 is a little big for me. Like I don't know if I would go with the 10.5. I feel like the Chicago Sky have developed enough where they can compete in this game. And I don't think the Storm are dominant enough like the Aces or the Liberty or even the Sun to have a 10.5 point lead. But again, I think Chicago Sky potentially cover. I'm probably not going to put money on it because they're not a very good team. The Storm are, but I would say that they cover, and I think Angel Reese will definitely get her double double again.
I've been going back and forth on this game all morning, Sean. You can get a 10 out there. I like 10 more than I like 10 and a half. Obviously, you'd always want the lesser number if you're asking a team to cover. This is just such a comfy spot for Seattle. They've been at home for a week and a half. They're at home for another week and a half. 9 straight home games for the Seattle Storm. This is their 6th of those 9, and they've won the last 5 by double digits. You also have a Storm front court that's one of the best in the league. So, I mean, I think the Storm are going to give the Sky enough trouble that I'm leaning towards the Storm covering. But you do have Angel Reese, who's been playing fantastic. You have the size of Camila Cardosa. My only concern is Ezzy Meg. I botch this name every time. Meg Begor. Ezzy
I
Meg
know I'll
Begor.
buy.
Yeah, I'm going
I
with
know what
Ez.
to
We're
say.
gonna call her Ezzy. Ezzy,
Mm.
the center for the Sky. She was snubbed from the All-Star game. A lot of people said she should have made it. Well, she's going up against Angel Reese tonight, who did make the All-Star game. So I think things are going to be a little bit trickier, not necessarily in terms of like Reese not getting a double double. I still think she gets that. She'll tie Candace Parker's double double record for most consecutive. I think she gets that tonight, but I do think it's going to be a little bit harder for this guy to get in the lane and penetrate and get to the basket, get downhill like they like to do. So I haven't bet this yet, Sean, but I am leaning towards the Storm covering minus. I'm gonna go ahead and say I found it at 10 out there. You can still get it at 10 some places.
That talent is better than it's been in a long time, and the youth is coming up, and they have a system. I know the head coach, everybody wants fired, but what is your synopsis on what's going on?
Oh man, how much time you got?
I know.
But
That's why I was like, I know.
yeah,
Before we get there, I
yeah,
need you to say it at least a minute or two.
yeah. No, I'm happy to hit it. Obviously, Berhalter's results have not been good enough. All the off-field stuff with Rainier was not pretty. It's not the coach's fault when a guy misses a PK or gets a red card, but we've seen it twice in the last year. You just wonder if he has the right grip. I'm probably repeating a lot of points others have given you, but it just seems like he's not pushing these guys enough. And then I will say, though, and a lot of people have pointed this out too, this golden generation, Pulisic and McKennie and a lot of these guys looked really promising at age 20, and they're still good players. They wouldn't be at, AC Milan and Juventus, et cetera, if they weren't good players, but they're not like the stars that I think we thought they might be 3 or 4 years ago. So the talent is good. It's better than what there is in Panama and in the rest of CONCACAF. I'm bullying Panama because I'm mad they essentially knocked the U.S. out. But, the U.S. has a long way to go. They looked overmatched against Uruguay. The midfield, McKennie and Tyler Adams, again, guys that we thought were going to be like just these awesome players, are really solid. But against Ugarte, who plays for PSG, and the rest of the Uruguayan squad, who, if not elite or at least a B team internationally, there was a gap between us and Uruguay, and that was hard to shake whether you like Berhalter or not. So that's kind of my take, and the short answer on what we need. Unfortunately, I don't have details, but we need a lot of changes. We need a new coach, and the guys coming behind this so-called golden generation will hopefully live up to the hype a little better than our guys have, because through a World Cup and a Copa America, it just hasn't shown up in the biggest stages against the biggest opponents. They beat the teams they should beat, and that's great, but they got a long way to go to really be on the level of a Argentina or a Brazil or even a Uruguay or a Colombia based on what we've seen in the Copa America.